Hello everybody! Today is an exciting day. Today I go over 8,000 miles. Can you believe that? In 6 months, Papa Blue Shirt has rode 8,000 miles. I can't hardly believe it. Oh, this Philodo e-bike has been a blast, and we're going to take a look at it today and let you know any problems that I've had, and most importantly, how well it's held up and all those good things. So let's get going. I'm just so excited. I can't, if you'd have told me last year I was going to put 8,000 miles on a bike in 6 months, I would have told you you're crazy, because I didn't, it took me 2 years to get to 10,000 on my ecotric. And but this bike goes a lot faster and goes a lot farther, so I'm able to get there a lot faster. So let's get going here. Yeah, this is so exciting. Let's take a look at the bike, this beast of a bike. As you can see here, I've done a few modifications. I added this battery on. This is actually the standard battery. And then I added a 24 amp hour. And because that one is bigger than this one, it's also heavier, I put it in the frame to kind of help balance it out. And then I put the bigger one, I put the stock one on the back. And that seems to work out very well. Of course, you have my seat. The seat, I started using this type of seat real early. And I got probably, I don't know, 14 or 15,000 miles on that seat type. And it's been really good. Anyways, have my suspension. Seat post. If you were going to do one thing for comfort, I would do the seat post. That made a big difference. I mean, it's made such a difference. I won't ride a bike without it anymore, because it's made that big of a difference. I tried the kind that goes up and down, just had the spring in the seat, and it was so bad I sent it back right away. I didn't like it. But this, so I was very hesitant to buy another one, because I thought, well, I bought that other one, didn't work. And but this really made a difference, so I'm really glad I did that. I forgot to mention my gloves. If you were looking for a nice pair of gloves, these are nice. They have the gel on them, and got the fingers so I can reach in my pocket and get my phone. I can fool with my bike and not have nothing on my fingers. I like that. The only bad thing about it is your knuckles will get tan from there on down. Even though your hands like that, your hands do see the sun. So. But that's the original reason why I got these kinds, because I wanted to have sun protection on the top, and it does that very well. Then, of course, I put my pegs on here, and the reason I did that is they have these small acorn nuts, and you can't get on it's hard to get a wrench on there, and so if you need to take the front wheel off from time to time, like if you're hauling it or something, it was a hassle. So I put these on here. And I can get out here on the frame, get out here past the frame, and so it doesn't interfere anymore. So that was nice. Of course, I did the FREEWHEEL, and I added a new crankset, 50 tooth. So that made a big difference. If I was going to do one, I would do the FREEWHEEL. I would do that first, because you get a bigger bang for that. And but then this added just a little bit more, just that little extra. And so now I can ride on passive assist number 5 all day long for the whole 75 miles, and I can stay in the pedals the whole time. So that really made it nice. At 7,000 miles, I finally changed my rear tire. So that rear tire, I got 5,000 miles out of it on the road. So that's not too shabby for a knobby tire. Here's the front tire. This is still the original. So that has almost 8,000 miles on it. What else here? I did finally break down and get a drink holder. When you're riding 75 miles in intense heat of 100 degrees, high humidity, you're probably going to need to take some water along. So I finally broke down and put some water things on there, and now I've gotten used to it. I got certain points on the trail that I have certain parts of the trail that I have to drink my water down by, so that kind of helps me to stay hydrated. So it forces me to to drink the water that I don't usually like to drink. Well, think of anything else here. I do have my little bag here that I have my tools in. It fits right down that little opening there. But yeah, this bike has been a beast. I really enjoy it. I've been using the wax-based lubricant, and it's kept my rims a lot cleaner. So I really like the wax-based. And this is still the original chain. I had asked me the other day if when I changed the front crankset if I needed to put a new chain on, but I didn't. This is the same one. My other e-bike, by this time I'd already had to put a new chain on because the lubricant I was using wasn't as good. So yeah, so that's neat. Alrighty, well, let's get out there and get on a ride and get out to that 8,000 miles that I'm trying. I'm trying to get to 10,000 this year, and I can see it in the future here. I can just see it, and so stay tuned. Hopefully I'll make it. I wanted this one to at least last as long as my ecotric did, and I got 10,600 miles on my ecotric. So we'll see if this one holds up. You know, there were people that were saying that some of my comments said that they don't use good materials on this and good parts and stuff, but you know, so far I've had really good luck. And you know, there's those people that think that if it has a brand name on it, it has to be better, and that's not always the case. But let's get going here. Well, here's my get up if it's cold out, or if the sun is shining right on my face and I don't want it to be on my face. I put this little piece of I don't know, Velcro or hook and link, whatever they're called, and I put it right there on this edge here, and so my thing can hook right on that, and so I can get completely out of the sun if I want to. On those 100-degree days when the sun is beating down on you, this is sure beats having the sun hit you. But then I can just pull it down like this, and it works, really nice. Also have my third eye. When I first started riding bikes, I went and bought a rear view camera and all that kind of stuff, and I think they're neat, but I didn't like the way it looked in the sunlight and stuff, so I sent it back, and I got this here, and I've used it ever since, and now I'm used to it. I don't have no mirrors on my bike at all, but this is my mirror. I can see, and the neat thing about it, I can turn like this, and I can see what's going on behind me. I can look this way. I can see, and you can't do that with a rear mirror. You have to move your head down and try to figure out and see. And so these are really nice. There's a reason why professional bike riders have these. There's a reason why they do that. Best way for them to be able to see. And it's the same with this bike shorts. Us old guys and people who don't ride a bike that much, we kind of make fun of those people who wear the bike shorts. But, they found out, for a reason that, their comfort. And that's why they do it. And so, yeah. Well, let's get going. Oh, these goggles. There was 5 of them in the package, and so we all got to pick which one we wanted. And that's been, goodness, 18,000 miles ago or something like that. So I wore these. If you look at all my videos, I've had these on just almost every video that I've had. So, and they weren't that expensive, so I'm kind of a cheap guy. So I get things, and if they work, I stick with them, and that's just who Papa Blue Shirt is. Well, let's get going. One thing that a lot of people don't realize is the all-wheel drive doesn't work all the time. It only works when you have the throttle on, or when you're in the walk function or the cruise. And but that's the way it should be, because if you had it on all the time, it would run your battery down a lot faster. And so, like on these big hills here, and because I'm riding up these hills here as I'm recording, I can use the throttle to help me up the hill there, and it walks me right up the hill. And so if you're looking for a bike for off-road stuff, this is a really neat bike. It works really good for on the road, and for the off-road that I've done, it's been very neat. Those hills you can't make up on your own, that throttle really helps. Nothing like a bike ride in the morning. And for those of you that are thinking about doing a dual battery setup, all I can say is don't be afraid to do it. If you can handle a screwdriver and unplug a plug, and maybe use a little bit of electrical tape, you can do that. And you can do that modification in probably a half an hour. The biggest thing is to figure out where to mount that extra battery. But as far as hooking up the batteries, that's a piece of cake. It's really easy to do, and so far it has worked flawlessly. I can't be happier that I did that. Now I can ride for 75 or 80 miles in past the SIFs number 5, and I can just ride. So it's been great. I'm even thinking about maybe getting the 3rd battery sometime. Yeah, my wife, she says, you can never do anything halfway, and I said, well, I guess that's just my nature. I go, I'm like Tim the Toolman Taylor, you know. Bigger is better, and more is better. That's just my nature, I guess. Well, we've come a little bit over 6 miles. A little bit over 6 miles, so yeah. Just getting this ride started. Going through my little tree tunnel here. Still haven't fixed that bridge yet. After our 14 inches of rain, they're just now getting some of those culverts that were washed out fixed so they could open the road again. So it was really bad. So now I have a few more options on the ways I want to ride. I was having to go around different ways because the roads were closed. Once they had it fixed a certain way, I could sneak and get behind it. But we had a lot of rain there for a few days, and I wasn't able to go. So. But now I'm hoping by a month and a half I'll be able to get to 10,000. That should get me there before it gets too cold out. So I love to ride, but I don't know if I can ride 50 or 75 miles when it's really cold out. Have to figure out my winter gear, I guess. Figure out my winter gear, I guess. Oh, I love this back roads. Just put new blacktop on this, and so it's like a brand new road. Hardly ever meet anybody on it. Hardly ever meet anybody on it. Down a hill. Give a little backstory to my viewers on YouTube. 3 years ago I was flat on my back in the living room in pain most of the day and couldn't do anything. Couldn't hardly walk. And I had this crazy idea, I'm gonna go out and get me an e-bike. Well, my first crazy idea was to get one of those powered unicycles. And a reason that took over, and I thought, you idiot, you ain't ever going to be able to do that. Then I thought, well, maybe an e-bike. You know, if I'm hurting, I can just use the e-bike to help me along, and so I did it. I went out and I ordered me one, and I got so excited I couldn't wait, so we went up and we rented some at Tunnel Hill, and from that time on we were hooked. I mean, we all hooked. I couldn't believe it. It made me feel like I was 16 again. It gave me my life back. Yeah, I don't want to get emotional here, but when your future looks like you'll be spending it all the time on the floor in pain, that's not a very bright future. And you know, they tried to do everything for me, put me on painkillers, and they cause all kinds of problems. I finally just said, I'm just going to deal with the pain. And but then I started riding an e-bike. And as they say, the rest is history. I was bitten by the bug. The more I rode, the stronger I got. And for all those who say riding an e-bike is cheating, you know what I have to say to you? Go get yourself a life, okay? I say if it gets a person out riding a bike who wouldn't be riding otherwise, I don't care. Even if it's powered the whole way, at least they're outside doing something. Well, their barn's on fire again. Tobacco barn. I don't mean to get preachy this morning, but I just think it's funny. Well, that's an e-bike. And I doubt I'll use this in my video, but yeah. It's a beautiful day to be out. Can't get that feeling sitting on your couch. Yeah. We had our flood, the water almost went over this bridge. It may have, but I wasn't around. Miles. Can you believe an old man can do that? Well, you can do it too if you get a bike like this. This has been so much fun. 8,000 miles. 8,000 miles. 8,000 miles. Things I've learned since I've been bike riding. I've learned that I really like sunrises and sunsets. They can be so beautiful. Stop to smell the roses along the way. I've learned that not everyone is going to wave back at you. When I first started waving to people, I'd get upset when they wouldn't wave back, and then I figured out, hey, I'm not going to look at them anymore. It's not going to affect me. So when I come up on a car, I wave and I look the other way. I don't even look to see if they're waving back. morning. I've learned that most dogs are not out to get you. And most cats are afraid of you. Skunks can really smell. And armadillos are a weird creature. I've learned just because they say it's going to rain doesn't mean it will. When they say it's not going to rain, it might. I've learned that the riding in the heat's not so bad as long as you have covering or shading. And I've learned that I have the best wife in the world. Which I already knew that. It just reaffirmed it. She's been supporting me every step of the way here. All my harebrained schemes. You know, I'm gonna put another battery on my bike. Okay. Yeah. Have a great life. And another thing I've learned is age is not a reason for not doing something. If you look on YouTube, you can find people in their 90s, people at 100 years old, and they're doing things that you're probably not doing. Skiing and skydiving and all kinds of stuff. Running marathons, and age is not the determining factor. Get out there and live your life. I can do this. Well, they had to fix this here again. They fixed it, and just a few days later it washed out again. Water really goes over the road there. But other things I've learned that I need to act like I'm invisible, because probably to some people you are. So I just assume that people don't see me. You can usually, when you're coming up on a car, you can usually tell when they see you by how they react. They'll do a little course correction on their line they're taking. And that usually is a pretty good indication that they see you. Another thing I've learned is they don't mow their lawn. They don't mow the roads enough. And you will always need a car at the worst possible time. Yeah. I don't know how many times I met cars in corners and stuff where I wasn't expecting them. So always expect there to be a vehicle there. Well, I wonder if the puppies will be in the road up here. They got like 8 or 10 puppies and they like to sleep in the road. Almost hit them once. They're not in the road today. I want you to notice I've come 40 miles. I want to use one bar. This battery setup is a beast. Really love my dual batteries. Let's see what the river crossing looks like today. Well, we're pretty dry, it looks like. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. I love that throttle. Love that throttle. I wouldn't have had that throttle, I would have wiped out back there. Oh, then I ride on this road for, I don't know, a couple miles. Really nice area to ride because there's usually not no cars. Sometimes that river crossing has 3 or 4 feet deep water going across it. No way I'm going through there then. If it's more than an inch or two, I won't go through it. It gets like an algae on the bottom, and I'm afraid to make me slide. A blue shirt doesn't do water too well. All right, we made it off the gravel road. 47.3 miles so far. Now we're down 2 bars. What it's doing is it's switching from one battery to the other, and it'll use up one battery for a while, and then when they're really uneven, they begin to get uneven, then it'll switch back to the other one, so it runs both batteries at the same time. Not at the same time, but it switches back and forth. 2 batteries hooked up with a balancer will go further than 2 batteries that you have to switch, because each of the batteries will run a little bit cooler. Heat is the enemy of the battery, and they lose efficiency. That's why your Tesla and all your electric cars have coolers and fans that try to keep the batteries cool. You get more miles and you keep the batteries cool, and it's the same with an e-bike. And so if you have 2 batteries that you have to switch, it'll run that battery, and that one battery will get hot and it will begin to lose efficiency. But if you have 2 together, they switch back and forth, so neither one gets hot, and you're able to go further. Plus, you don't have the hassle of having to switch it all the time. And you may say, well, it's not that big of a hassle to switch the battery, but I had to put up with that with my ecotric, and it would just die right in the worst possible spot. You're out there on the highway trying to switch your batteries around, and I learned I didn't like doing that, so I like this kind of a setup where all I gotta do is when I get back, I plug them in, and that's it. I'm done for the day. I don't have to do no switching, don't have to worry about if I got the keys or not, and all that kind of stuff. Makes it really handy. It's just a plug and play, and you forget about it. Like I said, the biggest hassle is just plugging them in every night. And if you notice, I still have the plastic on my screens and stuff. Old habit of mine, I just leave them on there. Maybe when I get to 10,000 miles, I take them off as a ceremonial thing. That I've earned the right to remove the covering. I took the TV from our house and I put it out in the garage, and it still had the plastic on it. A little dog was standing by the mailbox and went by and scared him, and then he kept on running after me. This is one of the culverts that they just got fixed. Now they need to fix the road. Now 52.2, and I've used still the 2 bars. I found this road here. I used to turn back there and go down the highway, and I was looking at the map and thought, oh, that road goes all the way through. So I can zigzag back here, ride these back country roads. Don't have to worry about cars hardly at all. Looks like they're fixing another culvert up here. I wonder how bad the road will be. Not too bad. Yep, when we got our 14.5 inches of rain, this whole bottom down here was about 4 feet underwater. Can't believe that it got that high. See, the corn is dying in some spots. Well, you think Papa Blue Shirt will make it to 10,000? You think this bike will make it to 10,000? I'm gonna try. Yeah, there's a reason why they don't have no houses down this area. I guess it's been prone to flooding. How far down the water is. So you know that was a lot of water. Filled that the riverbank up and overflowed way up here. Well, we got a pretty good headwind, so I'm gonna head back toward the house, I think. I usually go up here and go around the block and add a few more miles, but with that headwind, I want to make sure that I get home under some power. Got some pretty good hills I gotta go up. Another thing I've learned while bike riding is when you look back, you have a hard time staying on the road. Oh, that's got me a few times. Looking back and before you know it, I'm in the ditch. Flags blowing in the wind. Well, getting close. 65 miles. The wind is pretty strong, but looks like I'll make it. No problemo. Here's my brand new road they put in. I skipped my ride over this way one morning and come back the next day and they had this all done. There's a few other places I'd like to do that. Show you how to set the cruise. You just get to going whatever speed you want and then hold down the down button and it'll say walk and then cruise, and then when you let go you don't have to hold it no more. All you do is you hold the down button. I just put it on full throttle, hold the down button until it says walk and then cruise and then let go and it'll stay at full throttle. You can set it for a lesser amount, you know, like if you wanted to go a certain miles an hour, but it doesn't keep the mile per hour, it just keeps the position of the throttle. So if you're going up a hill like I am now, it'll begin to slow down. But then once you get to the top, you'll get back up to speed again. Not something I use very much at first, but I use it a lot now because when I go out on the highway, I want to get on and off as fast as possible. So I'll set that all the way up and I'll pedal as hard as I can to get off the highway. So I really like that function. And then it stays on. It stays on until you hit the brakes and then it goes off. Alrighty, there's where we ended up. 71.1. Took me 2.5 hours. 8,047 miles. 8,047 miles. I didn't quite get my 75 miles in today because I cut it short because of the wind. I would have had enough. You know how many bars? I still have half of my bars left, and that's on one battery. So that's, you know, I have half on one, half on the other. That equals one whole battery, right? I don't know if it's quite like that, but I still had a lot of juice left. I could have went probably 20 or 30 more miles. But, yeah. Still looking good. Well, it's gotten hot while I was on my ride, so I'm going to get in and get all these clothes off, get a shower, and get some food in my belly. Alrighty. I feel a little bit like a slacker because I didn't get my 75 miles in. But we almost did. Hopefully before long I'll cross that 10,000 mile barrier and I can say I did it. Alrighty. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye, good luck, and may the good Lord take a liking to you.
May the good Lord take a liking to you. Hallelujah. May He spread His blessings on your trail. Hallelujah. May He be your guide anywhere you ride, and be always your host when you're needing Him most. May the good Lord take